Hey YouTube, it's me, Nezrak, and behind me is the Dodge that's going to my sister. And the great thing about this Dodge that's going to my sister, which I was kind of disappointed about, not really because she was getting the car, but more so that she's uh got a lot of issues. Not my sister, Dodge. She's got a lot of issues, and I kind of don't. I really don't want my sister stuck on the side of the road. So I got something new today that I want to show you guys, and we're just gonna back right on over here to the freezer so I can show you guys. Who would have thought that having a camera like this will help you walk backwards so easily? But I've been wanting to install one of these on this car for over a year now. Okay, so we're gonna do that today, and I'm gonna bring you guys along for the entire journey. I'll show you guys how to take off the front bumper. What else? I'll show you guys how to take off the front bumper, how to get to the actual cooler lines. It's actually pretty simple. I can show you where they are from here. Okay, hold up. And if we, if we look down in here, you can see the coolant lines. It's a little bit bright, but you can see the coolant lines just right there. You can't really see them. I can't see them on camera because this place is too damn dark. Hold on. So yeah, shoot. I gotta watch my language. Basically, that metal block right here, you can actually touch it. It's hot right now. Ouch. That metal block has two hoses in the top of it. We're gonna disconnect both of those hoses today. Take off this front bumper actually first. Disconnect those two hoses, and then we are gonna use this universal kit. And it actually works out pretty well. I'm not sure if this thing is big enough. It actually looks kind of small. The box is, look at that box. The box, put my hand in that box. I got pretty big hands, but the box looks pretty chunky. What you really get isn't a whole bunch. You get a hose, you get some zip ties to actually punch through the radiator. Not punch through the radiator, but to go through the radiator. These little squishy pads are going to come in handy pretty well. Some clips, you get an actual threaded tube on here. I'm guessing this would replace one of those lines that are on there. If it threads in there, we're going to use that, okay? Because that will help us out quite a bit. And you get, of course, your C-clamps and the other parts to these zip ties. And en pièce de résistance, this tiny looking cooler. Now this may look like it's small and inefficient, but a small cooler like this generally will do a pretty decent job. Now we're not looking to completely mitigate the issue. We're looking to make it to where this plus the transmission cooler that's already in the car have the ability to work in tandem to get the transmission cooled to where it's not overheating when you're driving up the damn hill. That's it. That's all we're trying to do, okay? When you're driving up hills for 3 or 4 miles, that transmission gets hot, and that's what we're trying to fix. We're not trying to overcool the transmission and possibly damage it by cooling it off too much. If this were any bigger, this would actually probably be a bit of an issue, but this is one of the larger types of oil coolers that you'll find actually at AutoZone. We found this one at AutoZone, which is pretty awesome. Pretty darn awesome. Good job, AutoZone. Good job on you guys. A little pricey, but still, good job. So anyway, this video, honestly, is for the extended mag version of this video. Because you guys know I put two versions of these videos out. The short version for the guy who just wants to know the basics of how to swap it, or the steps to swap it to install something like this on their car. And the extended mag version is the one where I explain everything and I talk a lot. And anybody who wants to know why we're doing it, the nuances between why we're doing it, X, Y, Z, they don't have to go watch 10 videos. They watch the extended mag, and that explains everything. And it links to all the other videos just in case you want to see those videos anyway. So hopefully this all works out well, and by the end of the day, this car should be able to climb up the compass without frying, okay? It's gonna take us probably a couple hours to get there, but at the same time, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it to know that this car can drive the harsh conditions that, we need our cars to drive in. And, I don't know what else to say. I'm talking too much now, so let's get started on this. Okay, so what kind of tools are you gonna need to do this install on your car. So first, you're gonna need your cooler kit. Basically, we got this one from AutoZone. I'm gonna show you guys in a different video exactly what this all came with. Well, I'm just gonna show you right now. This came with all the things to connect it to your to install it to. Jesus Christ, I need to start writing scripts. Basically, this is all here to install this onto the front of your evaporator core. I have another video coming up. It's probably gonna be up before this one, but you can actually see exactly what that is. You need a 10mm wrench, socket. I have a few here. Of course, 10mm wrench just to make things easy. 10mm socket. Well, that's actually 9/32. 10mm socket and a bigger 10mm socket to make things easier in different parts of the car. I have a 13mm socket. My 9/32. You need this to get the front bumper off, and without this, you cannot get the front bumper off. So make sure you get yourself a 9/32 socket. A universal joint to make things easier. A screwdriver. This is a ratcheting screwdriver. You don't need one, but you can use one. This T-fitting. This is a star. Okay. The size in this, I want to say it's a T7, and there it is. So if you get that. Oh, T15, my bad. So you need a T15 Torx bit. And of course, I like to keep my dual 3/8 1/4-inch socket handy. You need a 16-inch box end wrench for your coolant lines, and you need a metal line cutter. Now, this, if you don't have one of these, it's not the end of the world, but I really suggest going out and buying these because they make it to where pretty much you can turn the lines that are already on there into something like this. This was actually included with the kit. It's a double flared line. This is used for brake lines, you guys. This isn't gonna leak. Easiest way to say it. Whatever you put this on, whatever you screw into it, it's not gonna leak. Brake lines hold a lot of pressure, and they don't leak at all, and they last for years. So make sure you grab this, and then you need your double flare kit. Lastly but not least, a good sharp knife. I have a few here just to make sure if one's too dull. This one's usually pretty good, but this one has a better blade on it as far as, just being smooth. And a magnetic bowl to keep everything in place. So once you take out your bolts, you toss your bolt in, it's not going anywhere. That's the point of the magnetic bowl. So first things first, we're gonna back this car out a little bit so I have a little bit more space, and then we're gonna take off the front bumper. Okay. First part is going to be the upper cover. I think I showed this in another video, but here's where you're going to need your 15 Torx bit. These are going to be your 10mm bolts, so we're going to grab our 10mm socket. If they're real hard to take off, grab your 10mm wrench and just bust them loose. I mean, you don't want to sit there and take them all off with this, but if they're real tight because they haven't been off since you got the car, take this and bust them loose. Makes your life a lot easier. This has been off recently, so I don't have to do all this. This is mainly just for your information, just a FYI. Make your life a little bit easier. That's why I'm here. Alright. Now it's time to get to work. Can't think of anything else. Can't forget my bowl. Socket. So this is a quick note. These bolts right here go in the center of that cover for your radiator, and these tins, these funky looking, almost wood screw looking tins, they go on the outside. There's only 2 of these in there. The other 3 are just like this, so they're machined, they're flat. They're better quality bolts. Okay, so this is where you're going to need your 9/32. There's 1 bolt here, 1 bolt up here, and there's another bolt hidden under this part of the fender. So we're going to take that out real quick, show you guys pretty much how it looks, and then after this, we'll start on the bottom 3. Don't forget your bowl! Oh, it won't stick to the plastic. Okay, so there's normally 4 clips right under here somewhere that I can't see right now because the tire's coming in the way. There we go. There's usually 2 clips on each side that have to come out. Those are already out, but you just pop out the center, pop the clip out, and viola. To get to these, you're definitely going to need an extension with your 9/30 seconds. Show up. Come on. There it goes. 9/30 seconds. Okay. Getting this inner fender out ain't easy, by the way. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You're gonna have to use a little bit of muscle to do this. Ow, shit! I'll show you guys where that one's at. Okay. And here's our fender. And there, right there's our bolt. There's our bolt right there, you guys. And I forget which ones these are. I'm not sure if they're 10s or 13s. I want to say they're 10s, but I'm going to go under there and check with this. Unfortunately, I don't think I can fit you guys under here and film it at the same time. There's one here in the center, and it's definitely a 10. So 3 10s in the bottom. One here, one over here, somewhere. One over here somewhere, damn it. And one over here, and then the one in the center. So. According to the camera, that was 16 minutes, and I was filming it the entire time, right? So it took me 16 minutes to do that while I was filming. And now it's time for how easy it is to remove the front bumper after you unbolt all that stuff. Just like that. Just like that. Pretty easy, right? Now, that's what we're after. Right there, you guys. Right there. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, here's your 16 mil wrench. 16. We might have a problem. We can't get this past this, we might have an issue here. Which means we're going to have to disconnect both of them. Which isn't that big of a deal, honestly. Bolt bowl. My bad. So, better look at this. See, I was going to remove this whole cross brace right here, but look, you don't have to remove the cross bracing. We're after these lines anyway. So, that makes life a little bit perfect, right? Makes life awesome. It's about to get awesome in here. So, this is going to be the most challenging part of this whole process. Figuring out where to cut this and where to attach our coolant line. So my theory is, since we're going to use another radiator, essentially, grab that. Since we're going to be using another radiator, essentially, why not mount it in the path that we already know gets air? Now this is dirty because of how the grill's shaped, so why not mount it right there? It makes a lot of sense, wouldn't you say? Yeah, we're gonna have to space these little veins apart to get our tie rod, our zip ties through, but once it's through, I think that's gonna work pretty good. I think that's gonna work flawlessly, in fact, and then we could even have a line just running up to the top and back down to the bottom. So we're just going to keep on working on this before we cut that line. Let me make sure I say that. Before we cut that line, not this one, we're going to make sure that we're in a situation to where we know where this is going to go, our lines are all mounted, and they're not interfering with anything else. So I'm going to bring you guys back after looking at this for 10 minutes, figuring out what I want to do, and trying to keep it to where, I don't know how else to say it, it's a fix to where I don't have to come back and touch it for 2 or 3 years. I don't want to have to mess with it after it's done. That's the easiest way I can say it. Okay, one thing to consider while planning this is the direction of flow for the CVT fluid. I'm going to set you guys right here. There is our CVT lines. I'm assuming this one's the end, so if that is it, that should fill up first, right when I start the car. I'm only going to start the car for like a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to shut it right back off. But I want to find out which one of these holes fill up with fluid and spills fluid out, so that way I know, which one is coming out, so I can figure out how to plumb this correctly and make it fit in the line a lot happier. Here we go, getting ready to start it. Needless to say, that was quite a bit more CVT fluid than I planned on getting. And that's why I got 2 quarts of CVT fluid. Jesus Christ, that scared the hell out of me. Okay, shit. Sorry about that, I had these in my mouth. Okay, YouTube, so basically I have these shish kebab sticks. And what I'm doing, put you guys over here. I'm not sure how the sound's going to be on this. I have the cover on here because it actually works as a stand, so. But basically, make sure you guys can see the whole thing. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm putting shish kebab sticks in here to spread apart these little veins and kind of give me a good idea. Now I'm not going very deep in, I'm just going through this first core, the first evaporator core. And this is literally a mock-up. This isn't permanent yet. I'm not sure if this is exactly where I want to mount it, but I want to show you guys what I'm looking at and why I'm mounting it there instead of on this side. Okay, so basically, these 2 dark spots, I already clarified on the video. I have another video where I cleaned out this radiator, the radiator and the cooling assembly for this top half is for the transmission cooler. You can see the lines right there. This bottom half is for your AC. Now, my theory is that they're blocked off from each other, but that the heat from the AC, because this all gets hot on the high side. So it gets hot, and it just makes the transmission cooler ineffective. I mean, look how thin that is compared to how much heat's going to come from this evaporator core. So basically, this dark spot is one of the spots that get the most air. This is dirt and grime from the road, oil, all the crap that comes up off the road when it rains. These light spots don't get a lot of airflow. So we want to put this thing in a dark spot so it has maximum airflow because it's passive. I mean, it is going to go off of the fans as well, but it's mostly a passive system with just fluid being pumped through it because it's going to be tied into these lines, okay? So basically, mounting it over here, the reason I'm mounting it further away from that side is because I don't want the lines to bunch up, and the more space I have in those lines between the regular transmission cooler and the new transmission cooler, it's just more time and more space for that transmission fluid to cool off. So that's why I'm trying to put it on this side. If not, if I don't have enough tubing, say, or something like that, to go to that side, because look, I mean, that's going to be quite a bit of tubing. Oh, actually, looking at it, I think we might have enough. That's about 3 feet. So, yeah, honestly, just looking at it, I think we might have enough. Only problem is we might just have enough. So I'm gonna mock this up completely, to where it looks like it's ready to be installed. After that, I'm going to bring you guys back and explain. Well, I don't really need to explain anything else. Bring you guys back and then show freaking the final installation for this. So, just sit around for a bit while I figure this out.